So is it just me? I wouldn't be Pacific if I didn't clear my throat or sniff, right? Is Rachel Maddow got to be one of the most ugliest liberal female TV personas ever? You know, up there with Katie Couric and yeah. They pick the ugliest of the ugly to be our anchors. And we're supposed to be impressed with their so-called fair reporting. Did you see how she handled the Trump caucus the other day? Trump kicked butt. But she only wanted to report what was factual and true. And they already have had a billion commentators come out and say that what Rachel Maddow determines as truth is anything but. She's liberally biased and is going to stand in the long line of the same old yada, 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 wah, Democrats that are all saying the same thing. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. That's it. You cannot trust the Democrats. They're not about fair reporting. They dominate the media. They dominate the education system. They dominate the black community. They dominate every radical fringe lunatic group out there. And this is not a group of people we should even allow to be in any part running America. Boom, end. So Iran decided to punk shot on Pakistan the other day, which I thought was totally ridiculous. Why would you do that? Why would you punk on Pakistan? And Pakistan wasted no time in sending a retaliatory strike. 9 killed. And I support Pakistan on that. And do you know why? Because Pakistan wasn't doing anything. I think it's funny. We got these bleeding heart, whiny baby liberals in America that don't know what hardship is. And they fail to see the hardship that their party's creating for us. Why don't you go live in these countries? You know, you talk about, you know, why would Pakistan shoot back? And they were attacked. The Democrats, they're all against Israel defending themselves. They're against homeowners defending themselves. They're against that couple in St. Louis, Missouri, that lived in a mansion, and this manic crowd busted through the wrought iron onto their property surrounding their mansion, threatening to burn their house down, them and their dog. And none of the St. Louis police bothered to show up and stop it. Losers. Losers. Just so happened that man and his wife, he was an attorney who happened to have black clients that he represented. And a black prosecuting attorney of Missouri, who was liberal as hell, threw the book at them. Their sin, pointing weapons from the porch of their property. Don't come up here. That was a few years ago, and I'm going to tell you something, folks. You know, there's something rotten in Denmark when you're not allowed to point a gun from your own property when you're surrounded by a mob. Who came up with that? The Democrats? But go try to break into Nancy Pelosi's mansion. Go try to break in Maxine Waters or AOC's townhome or cutesy condo or whatever. Watch what happens to you. Rules for thee, but not for me. This party needs to be eradicated and removed from the continental United States. They do not support the Constitution. They do not support biblical values. They do not support common sense values. They're idiots. Electric vehicles in Chicago, Tesla is a parking lot. vehicles that will not charge due to the Arctic temps. I said several years ago they're going to have this problem in northern climes. I drove school buses in northern Minnesota. Just the bus sitting outside in the cold temperature drains the battery power. And that's 2 batteries just to start the diesel engine. I can only imagine what an EV is going to go through. Isn't that something? We live in a crazy world. Crazy. Google's laying off staff. They're all going to AI. What in the hell is going on? The world is changing fast. Biden still believes he's great stuff. The Democrats believe they're doing a great job leading the country. The Middle East is fracturing. Yemen, did you see them the other day? Allah Akbar, death the USA. Why? Because we're defending our ships and the trade going through the Suez Canal. It's amazing how bullies can start a problem, and when you fire back, you're the bad guy. I've said this about the U.S. for a long time. They tell people, don't look at somebody who's causing road. Don't look at anybody. Don't hump. Oh, so when somebody's bad, you can't say anything. It's like when the black community acts up, whites aren't allowed to say anything because it would be called racist. But the blacks will always talk about the whites. Interesting, isn't it? America has set a precedent that thug rebels around the world are using. We can punk, we can diss, don't touch us. Houthis. What a name. Sounds like a freaking middle school tree club. And they are little gangsters with guns, shooting at cargo ships that have nothing to do with them, as if they own the Suez Canal. But they shot at one of our warships, and what kind of a president would allow this to happen? I believe that would call for a definitive strike straight in Yemen and say, do it one more time, we'll take out your capital. Boom. People want to talk about how dirty war is. Well, let me tell you something, Democrats. You've declared war on us. Your own people are killing each other. Your own Democrat voters are killing each other. You've descended into drugs and drug trafficking. You're turning our children into little pedophiles, and you're worried about a war. You're systematically destroying and killing America. What's wrong with taking out a group of people that are thugs once and for all? Israel reached the 100th day mark the other day. Like trying to get rats. They cannot get all these Hamas. They're cowards. They hide. They use the Palestinians as shields. It's interesting. But it was encouraging to see that Trump beat and led the way in the caucuses. But I don't think he's going to win. The Democrats are corrupt. They've got a bloodlust for power, and I just don't think it's going to happen. We're living in scary times. Those of us that are Christians need to pray that God intervenes and stops the hearts of those that devise wickedness. Because it's here, folks. It's here.